Revealing Hidden Formats in Genesis, Part 8. And I believe these are really, truly are the first writer's hidden formats. Now here, Leah was giving birth to a son here, and we start having the different sons being born. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there is no correct order in the text. I'm going to show you that, and it's going to become very important how sneakily I found out how to edit these in the correct order, because there is another list of the sons and they don't match this list. So, and I don't know if it's in Genesis or if it's a little later, but the object here is all these sons are not in the correct order. And here, I'm leaving this verse in here, but I need more evidence of of her being born at all. I'm going to tell you right now, this text will be removed later, but I did look for this verse to see if it actually made sense later. And when you see the story about Dan, no, that's just, they don't do that. They just don't go around killing a bunch of people. So, you got to realize that our Creator liked people that obeyed Him. So, if He created you, or created somebody else, He does not want you to go around and killing them. But He does actually later does define why you should kill people and who He wants you to kill. Example, a drunkard. The family is supposed to bring him in front of the elders of that area and say he will not stop drinking, and all he does is drink. And so they took him out and they would stone him to death. He did not want drunkards to be among his people. And these I needed to add here because the text here doesn't really say it as well as I can say it, but I had to literally put in these two verses to mean what it really truly should have been put in there. So yes, I am putting in two verses. I'm not going to use anything from those other verses. And I had to add the word silver because he's rejecting him later by changing the terms. And to do that, it would be that he offered him something other, but he talks about, I had few and now you came before. So I'll give to you silver because he's seen the abundance. Because he knew from his abundance he would get more. So the thing here is he was willing to pay him off. And no, it makes more sense that he offered him silver. But Jacob replied, I will keep doing that, but him, now I'll let him, referring to our Creator, provide for my own family. And not keep, but still herd your rams. Should the word flocks be here? I'm going to have to really look at that because maybe I did this text too quick and then I'm going to end up changing it later. But the thing here is I know that he has two flocks and not just two herds, but this herds or flocks should be used there. In that, and then he's going to pass through, but he's actually going to pick out, because down here the story is he's going to divide them. So let me pick out or the first he's going to say, you need to add this. Could I use these as two separate words? Yes, but I didn't like that I needed to add this to the text first. Let me pick out, because when you understand the story, this made sense to have it added here. And among your goats. So here, these are flocks. I got to change that word to flocks. And had to add the word now. And from these flocks. Okay. And then he makes it a deal. And rams and goats. Spotted males and goats. No, need to get rid of the word male and have the word rams there. Just got done defining that right up here. Right here. Now he's taken not rods but branches, and you would understand that they aren't rods, they're branches of almond trees, poplar and almond trees, and peeled stripes in them, exposing the lighter, not that it's white, but it's lighter. I know what poplar is. I'm sure it's the same poplar tree over there as it is here in the United States. So I know that it's lighter. It is not a white. It is a lighter, that you're exposing the lighter within the branches, not within the rods, but within the branches, which is in the rods. Anyways, I needed the word within. And for they married afterwards. I don't know about, I've never had flocks before, but we're learning that this is what happens. Married by the rods, and they had speckled and spotted for his own flock. Then he'd separate them and to be put in his own flock. Now, Jacob heard words from his sons. I couldn't put Laban's sons, but the sons were starting to say Jacob is taking away what is ours and our father's, and is making, not made, but making him rich, not wealthy, but rich. And that attitude, but it's their thoughts. And this is a later word, so it would be a simpler word, so it's their thoughts. And they were not friendly to him anymore. Now here I've got a mark. Okay, I know what this is about. When why be commanded to return to your fathers, there's a lot of different things he's going to say, and they put those words in different places. So there's going to be a few times I'm going to move verses up into here that our Creator just didn't say these words. There's going to be many things. And I've got them noted as this here. So if you do a search, just search this here, and you'll get to them immediately. This is just kind of double, triple saying everything. It's not really needed. Now here, like I said, the word lead is sometimes driving or drove, and this word will be a drive or drove will be considering the livestock, his flocks. But he also had donkeys, so we have to now include the word livestock as meaning that as well. and took his property, which he had gathered, went to the land of his father Israel, and would live next to him, because it doesn't say that, but we know that that's what's going to happen. So that is just not made up for no reason. That's because that's going to become truth. So I can put that text here. And all of a sudden he's an Armenian, which means he's not from Shem's, and that would have been against our Creator. So we know that this is wrong. And here it's past the rivers. Now, I've said this before, and this is how I did the difference in the land structures to say whose land is whose. Because Abraham lived here, so Isaac still lived here, so Jacob is being sent from here to here, and you can see that that's maybe 10, 15 miles that he's going to travel, and he's going to be traveling this at the age of probably 13 to 15, and he's going to return here, okay? So when he says, when I've got the rivers, it means this, and that's the dividing point. Now, could it have been this dividing that he passed the rivers, and this was either or territory? I don't know that specifically, but that's what it means, past the rivers. He did not travel 700 miles away to go to pass the river, because if he crossed the Euphrates River at that time, I think I even have a picture of that. And that, it's kind of funny because they think anybody can cross this Euphrates River. And even today, I think there's I don't see the picture real quick. There is a bridge over it, and you can at least easily get 5 cars, little space behind them, is how wide this river is. And that's at the shortest area where they would have built the bridge. But they're claiming that this river could be passed real easily. But you would not be sending, I've already proven that where Shem's land is at. So, but here they're trying to add this to keep influencing you to believe that Noah landed up a lot farther than where he did. Or, yeah, Noah's boat rested. Overtook, well, he found them. Kinsmen to sons, and he warned him. It says to do either good or bad. Well, that can't happen. You can't not speak to him otherwise. So the thing here is that I'm just going to say to Jacob unkindly, which is replaced in the word bad. And in Jacob in the morning, Laban caught up with Jacob in the morning. And that's because they still had little ones that needed special attending to earlier in the morning to get them ready. So that's why I have him placed that he caught him in the morning. And then it's my daughters and your sons. They aren't his daughters anymore because he gave them to him. So I will probably be changing the words somewhere along the word, and the words my daughters. Deceived? No, he ran from him. He didn't deceive him. He ran from him. Why do you flee? And then not tell me. Why not tell me? So here he's going to tell him what happened, and not unkindly to Jacob. And I'm adding this text in, and then I'm going to put this up, because the other text that's going to be moved up, this has to be said here. So it's going to go with it, but it's going to remain here in the text. But it has a reason because of that. The other verses I'm going to put up there is how when he renames them in that vision. So the thing here is he didn't have another vision later. He had it when he was to go, when he was told to leave and return to his father. So here, I've had to add this text, and he has to tell him why he named him Israel, and then all the text from here down is being changed from Jacob to Israel. And this thing about having household idols, no, Shems were definitely believers. Our Creator existed. This being put in is just absolutely stupid. So this whole story is false. And this is a marker that they made, or they're going to make, and notice it's turned to a 4-verse here. So I'm not sure if I broke it up to go with the verses above 1, 2, 3. It looks like I'm going to have to get rid of one of those verses. But the object is they make a marker, and a marker is you're going to be taught here. Took a stone to begin the pillar. It's not, you don't make a pillar out of one rock. A pillar is carved from one rock. So the thing here is they took a stone and became to begin the marker. And then down here, they gathered more, so I needed to say added. Okay, so the word added is needed here, and the stones made a heap. So all of a sudden now there is no pillar, it's a heap, which it means that when I'm using the word marker, okay. So the thing here is not a pillar, but a marker. But the object is you got to watch how they do this. And then here they're going to give it a name. Now, I know I removed the hyphens, but it's just ridiculous that some of these words that they made up to put into talking into like every marker they would remember when actually this heap is a witness. They don't need to name it. YB will watch over us when we are not absent but away from one another. I don't need the word absent. I'll bring it down to the Hebrew language at that time. The sons are now nephews and daughters. And then Laban left and returned to his wife and his land. And here they're going to try to name this someplace again. Another place that is going to be, don't need any of this. Sent Judah before him. No, I'm sending out his firstborn because he's the eldest and would be able to, had been leading the flock. Remember, there's 12 of them. And it's, when you figure out their ages, I believe he is at the age of maybe 14, 15, somewhere in there, to his brother. And then in the land, no, he's going back to Canaan. So this is not land for this guy. And it's not a country of Edom. Edom, you'll find here in the text coming up. Maybe in the next video, well, I will show you the path that he took and the mount that he went to. And we now know that mount because we have stories from David telling us where that mount is. And it's also going to be the mount where Moses is going to go and marry his wife. And that's why he doesn't go to someplace way in Saudi Arabia. There's so much desert there that Moses would have went to his Hebrew brothers. But the object is there's a lot to say about that as well. So let's not get carried away, Mike. And my brother. Okay. It's better to say my brother, not Lord. That's not in the blessing that he received. So Esau is not his Lord, but brother. And Esau understood that because that's why I'm going to kill him. So not lived, but sojourned. I got the word lived. To be favorable in his eyes, just had to add a little bit to the ending. And didn't send messengers. I have Judah. I don't have Jacob or Israel having servants. He has a lot of sons, and he's just starting off, like he said, to provide for his own family. And the text above, it's just something that staying true to the text when he said own family. So again, he found not too hard, getting rid of 400 men, too many men with him. And he divided his people, not his people, but his wives, into two groups. And that's because he thought that if the first was attacked by Esau, he was still angry and was going to kill him, that the other one would be left to escape, that he didn't know about that. That Israel called out to YV. When he's dividing them out, he said, well, I don't know, but you told me this. So you got these, pretty much this text is that. Now here he passed by the Jordan River, not the Euphrates on their text, but he crossed by the rivers, crossed the rivers. Come will attack, but will kill me. Fear he will come and kill me. And then, but you told me to return, so I have to have the word return to your father. So you told me to return. I needed to sum that up in one word and make my descendants like the sand by the sea. Here, this is a 3 verse. This is going to become a 4 verse. So one of these will be gone next time. And then I've got Simon led the second group, which would have been supposedly the firstborn from Rachel. And then he put a space between them. And it's of not a present, but a gift. Brother, not Lord. And we don't need this falseness of him wrestling with so-called angel or our creator, that just idiots putting stuff in here. And here, this is, now it's being said that's how we come, he renamed them. No. When he said he renamed them, and we need this text, this is one of these that are going to go up with that group up above. Then he saw Esau coming with his men. So the other thing is you got to understand that they were traveling from here to here, and you can see it's less than 5 miles, so they didn't need to stay overnight. It just doesn't make sense to say that I'm removing this garbage here. And he didn't walk with a limp anymore because that text is out. No, he didn't see both of them yet. He only seen the first group because the other group is farther behind. So and she had the younger son, so they would have been traveling a little bit slower. So it's Leah who's first, and then he sees them. So I needed to answer, fill in the text, and I didn't really change or didn't add to it by adding the word yes here, and then to influence it to mean other things. But you can see that this word is just replacing the word God, so this is not really being truly added, just corrected. So I'm going to get rid of it. Then they bowed to Esau, so needed his name here. And then Rachel came. And then he's talking about the animals or the livestock that he sent. So, yeah, maybe that word should be livestock. So now, make sure I'm saving these. Put all that there and then have the power go out and I'll lose that. Favorable in your heart, not your sight, but your heart, because in his heart he had decided he was going to kill him. So I have to make sure that it's his heart, and by giving them to my brother. Again, heart. And it's a gift. Now I can see, not that he can see him now, but he will see them. For I will now see. No, for now I can see your face and your family. Urge to insisting. I think that's so close, but I couldn't think of a smaller word. So I don't know if I just got time to. Because it's only 27 minutes. I want to check that text. So it's 33:11. Urge. No, it's not insisting, but pressed him. No, I don't want to use the word pressed differently. So I'll stay with the word insisting. So I guess this is added, but I think if I just see, insisted. So yeah, okay. Yeah, close enough. Our journey to home. And I will lead before you. To take him to his. So it could be that maybe they have moved from where they're at, because, like I said, the herd, a sheep or a ram will not only eat the grass, but he pulls up the roots and eats the roots. So it's kind of like, did they move here a little bit from where they were at, and he doesn't know that. That's what I'm reading out of this text here. And I might forget to mention that when I'm doing my explaining the text and what I know. As for his wife's intents, so he didn't build houses. They didn't have houses at that time. Don't have houses being built until after David's time. Yeah, this is the story of their sister being defiled, and no, our Creator is not gonna. I'm not. No, they didn't go around killing people. Now see here, this text here, Jacob and no call Jacob Israel. I'm using the verse from above, so this verse will be removed because I like the other text. When I seen I had a double, I came back here and I said, no, get rid of that. I'll use the other one. But this group here needs to be put up higher. So, and this one as well. So, but it is that he's going to rename them, and that text that I've got up there will replace that, and then you'll see these groups being put together. Now this is her again having a son, and his name is Benjamin. But he had all 12 of them when he was in Shem's land, not now. But that is where they stuck this. So what I did was I put this piece up next to the other text, and then there's a choice of using this text or the other text. And I'm not sure which ones I'm using. I'm thinking I'm using this text. It just read a little bit better, stayed more to the format that was being used, or the wording that was being used above. And then here, now she dies in that land, and I have her in Canaan's land. And the cave is still where they're burying the families and members. And so here, we have to remember that Abram bought it. So I'm not adding untruthful words or making up words. And then I've got said leave this text here because it's going to go with the above text that did make it. Now, okay, here's the words again and the order of the way they were born, and it does not match. So I believe this text is not going to make it, because what I did was I moved it up to look at it, and then I think, no, I didn't use it at all, because I knew that there were no sense of. I think I'm showing you that there's going to be two different ways that they listed the order, or if not, here, this is the order that I'm saying that are different. And I've got 70 years old, and I got to check that 7, and I got to do it by Jacob's amount of years, how he lived when he got here, and then how much longer did he live when when Israel returned. And they buried him in the cave, the sons from Esau, and his wife. Here's his wife's name finally, the correct name. Before I think they had Judith. So here's her name, Ishmael's daughter. So it was twice said that it was Ishmael's daughter. And these are the sons, but there's actually going to be 12 of them, and we're going to find them scattered all over in the text to come up with 12. So I might be getting ahead of myself in this text. Maybe this format doesn't reveal the 12, because I haven't put all the text together yet. But just remember to keep him in the format. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sons right now, and he took his wives and donkeys and herds. from the land for Canaans, and he went south to a mount east. And that's this path. This is very high up above the ground, okay? This over here is like another 1,000 feet up. So they wouldn't need to go up 1,000 feet, and you'd have to travel this ravine to come up through here and then come down here. And now these rivers don't really extend over too much farther, but it would be the path, then you come down here. It would have been easier to go through the land that he knew that was family, so he could pass through them, and to this mount. This is where Edom is located on a lot of maps. So this is south, then east, okay? So that's why I've got the words south and east added of the salty lake. Now, they call it the Dead Sea. It's actually a salt water lake. So it's actually not a sea just because it's got salt water. There was most likely a salt deposit that when over time that when water broke through, it turned the water completely into oversalted water, and that's how the salty lake most likely came into existence. And he named the mount, named it Edom. So here is where the word Edom comes in as to where his people or his descendants were living from. And these names don't need to be, they don't mean nothing to us anymore, so they don't need to be here or into the final text. Now we have Joseph. He was not 17. He has to be 10. Now I used 10, and I'm going to show you why in a little bit. Although I was glancing at the text, I guess this is, he was the years of age to herd rams. So it couldn't have been 17. That's just age is too long. But it was that he was of the age. This means at the age of 10, he would have been brought in and started to understand how to herd rams. So should I use the word flocks, that he was able to do either or? I'm just going to use one of the flocks as rams here, because he was the last. He made him not a very colored tunic. The tunic is a Greek word, so that is out, and it would have been a hide coat. So a colored hide coat could have been from, because you got to remember, rams and goat hides are white, and they were pretty much, that's what they wore from the day of Noah all the way to Jesus. So this colored hide coat would have been from like deer skin or rabbit skin, and put many together as a varied colored hide coat. I'm just saying that it's a colored hide coat, meaning different hides were put together. This word is being added, and I think I'm going to stop here and then get to his visions here, because they're not dreams, they're visions. Did not speak, he spake. I like the word spake more than speak, because it's used many times in the text, and so I'm continuing with how they would have said it at that time. And I guess I'm going to, this was for the coat, and they knew that his father, they would have said, yeah, loved him more than them. So they spoke unfriendly to him, or were being unfriendly to him. But here I'm going to stop or start right here in the next text or next video.